are you voting for?
G'day everyone, it's me, the Anti-Theocrat, back with another one. Before I go into the main content, it's a quick sales pitch. It's the only one you're getting, so enjoy it. Below these videos, I do attach all links to the information if there are links to be had. I also archive all of the information if that's possible. I also supply links to other platforms for my content and how to support me if you wish to do so. That'd be nice, but no requirement. That's it. That's my intro. That's my sales pitch. It's all I've got. It's all you're ever going to get. And now, on with the show. So, I went to our local population centre recently. For those of you who don't know, I live in Outback Australia, 350 kilometre drive to our local population centre, a centre with a population of 50,000 people. So yeah, it's a fair hike for me to get to this place, but I had some shopping I needed to do, building my forge, just so anyone knows. But anyway, I met a feminist. I met a feminist. I didn't know who this woman was, never met her before in my life, but I got to upset a random feminist. So for anyone who thought that this was just something I did online, that I was an online warrior of some sort, you have no idea who I am. Essentially, this feminist and her fella decided to speak up because they saw my wife wearing her shirt design, Allergic to Stupid People. Now, I have a range of designs that I've thrown together. This one was a replacement for one my wife had years ago, that she needed a new one made. So, yes, here is her shirt. She was wearing this. They assumed, however, that we were wearing the same shirt. Big mistake. Because I don't go anywhere that I'm not wearing one of my designs. Now, my designs vary. They're not all anti-feminist, and like this one, sometimes they're just, something fairly light. I do have one that reads half the people, and in the half it says approximate to for the big brain people who think that you can't just say half and live with that. Half the people you'll meet are here, and it points to a graphic of the bottom half of the IQ chart. This is a fairly intellectual shirt, but basically it says half the people you will meet are dumb shits. Anyway, I like wearing that shirt. It's a good one. So my wife is wearing this shirt. By the way, anyone wants any of my designs, get in touch. Let me know. I can have them printed for about half the price of the t-shirt companies and shipped out to you. Not interested in making big bucks out of them, but if you want a design that says something, go for your life. And no transfer shit. This is ink on fabric. Problem was, with this feminist, I was wearing this shirt, and they hadn't noticed. They hadn't truly seen my shirt, because I was leaning down on a shopping trolley. But because the shirts have similar colour work, because yellow stands out brilliantly on black, so I use quite a lot of yellow in my designs. The assumption was that the shirts were the same, and as you can see, this is far from the same shirt. I deny patriarchy theory. Anti-feminist and PC policing are the taglines on the new version of this shirt, which I think is a slightly better tagline than I had on the original. So, it was just too wordy, the other one. So yes, while the woman is trying to read my shirt, I say, well, it's just ridiculous to think that the world is run by men for men. So she tries to demand that it is, and I said, so Barack Obama, you don't think that Michelle Obama had any say at all in his thinking, his view of the world? If anyone hasn't been watching the media of late and hasn't noticed that that woman is a fucking... look, it's... I'm not saying she is, but if she isn't an abuser, bloody hell, she's got the temperament and drive of one. That's all I can say. Seriously, that woman's got problems. But yes, I brought that up. Just put that relationship in the frame, and I said, "Do you think that he hasn't been influenced by his wife?" She had nothing to add to that. She tried to follow up that men had all the positions of power, and I just followed up with the same. Do you think that their wives and partners have no part in their lives? I sort of hinted that maybe her guy had some part in her life, although I feel he might have been on the soy a bit hard. So she turns the conversation around, not being able to win that point, that women definitely have some part in their partners' lives. She throws domestic violence into the ring. And I try to point out that domestic violence figures are not quite as they stand, that women actually, studies are showing that women instigate more of the domestic violence, and that the perpetration is almost 50-50. And she immediately says, well, I get my information from a different place, so this conversation is over. And that was it. That was where it ended. But I got to upset a feminist with one of my shirts. So anyone who thought I wasn't game... Anyway, my wife's only comment to this as we walk past the woman further in the supermarket, I don't even know if in the shopping centre, I don't even know if my wife noticed her as we walked past. My wife said that the only thing she regretted was not having this shirt on that day. One of the designs that my wife has in print. Feminism, deluding women since 1937. Devaluing, sorry. She also has a deluding. Devaluing women since 1937. So, yeah. When we go out, sometimes it's a pretty full-on looking for shit show. Anyway, I wanted to carry on this thing with the I wasn't planning to do the shirts, but the shirts came out of looking at other things. So I want to just raise awareness of these people firstly. Domestic Violence Awareness Australia. It's a Facebook group. I think they have a website as well, but the Facebook group posts most of their material. I'm hoping that they never lose their media output, because if you wanted accuracy in the way that domestic violence is measured in this country, these people give it to you. Now, they also, when they release these figures, and this is the current figure that they have, they also release all the sources that they found this information with. So whether it's news sources or police sources, it doesn't matter. Their material is gathered in the same way that the feminist organisations gather material. Because feminist organisations also gather from the news and police and so forth. And they make a point of saying that we gather our material in the same way. So currently in Australia, we've got a 31 woman death rate, 21 men by comparison, and 13 children. The death count for the totals for last year, as you can see, 40 women, 28 men, and 19 children. And these children were largely killed by their mothers. And this is all information that these people keep, not just who dies, but at the hands of who they die. Whether they die at the hands of a man or a woman. And this is statistics you won't get from the feminist organisations. The feminist organisations will tell you that this group is a right-wing conspiracy group that doesn't do proper research. But look, there's a whole Facebook page here of material that you can scroll through and look at your own will. I tell you, go and assess it for yourself. Do not take my word for it. Do not take anyone else's word for it. This group do not have a gender bias, although as we will see, sometimes there is a focus, but there is a focus with a purpose. They essentially record everything and they put the stories up as they find them. sometimes international, mostly Australia. They're keeping a record in Australia, but their news can be from all over. Well worth giving these people time if you have an interest in the truth about domestic violence in Australia. On that score, this is the page that made me give you this sales pitch for Domestic Violence Australia, Awareness Australia. This is a post they put up recently. Investigation after loving, caring mum murders her 2 sons. Now, where in the media will you ever see a loving, caring father killing his 2 sons? You'll never see that. And as David down here says, the next journo who writes about a loving, caring, devoted dad killing his kids will be unemployed before the article goes to print or viral. Exactly. But I'll keep going. I'll keep going because this is just one, right? Police investigation as loving mother found naked in street holding severed head of teen daughter. Seriously. Seriously, this is how they report women in our media. This is how they report women who kill in the media. Devoted mum strangles son 11 to death during COVID lockdown. Devoted mum, loving mum, caring mum. Yet they all manage to kill. This shit is ridiculous. And I think we fathers, the world tells we fathers that we don't have the same emotional output, the same emotional connection as women do in relation to our children. Well, if this is devotion to your children, if this is loving your children, if this is caring for your children, I'm sort of glad men don't have it. This is the feminist claim, is that men can't emote the way women do. Well, I'm fucking glad we can't. So anyway, I've dug up another one of these because this is interesting. Now, this did come through Domestic Violence Australia, reposted this, but it is the Australian Brotherhood of Fathers that put the original post together. 3 men murdered by women in domestic violence incidents in 3 weeks in Queensland, and nothing from the domestic violence ministers. Dead true, not a fucking word. The advertising on TV is still focused on men as perpetrators. The only thing that could be said to be showing the idea that men can be victims is the ads for the men's line, which is supposed to be the men's domestic violence helpline. They are run by feminists, and you will be asked what you did to cause the problem, and they will make you sign a contract if they send you to any behaviour changing courses that will make you admit to being the problem. And that is what Men's Line does. So, yes, the TV advertising is still essentially feminist and is still essentially blaming men only. The Police Commissioner and Attorney General or the Premier, all of who should be calling for more to be done to prevent the deaths. Yeah, they spent millions on the feminist-run domestic violence organisations so that they could sell us the idea that there was more domestic violence happening because of COVID, only to learn that there has been a significant decrease in reporting of domestic violence since the corona lockdown. In America, they found that people were divorcing slightly less. There were less reporting of domestic violence. People, it seems, when you lock them in together, when they don't have the stresses of work and everything, all external life around them, maybe it's not going to coffee with the other mums and learning how inferior your husband is compared to theirs during the brag sessions over coffee. Whatever it is, when you lock people in the house together and they have to get along, apparently they do. But millions was given to domestic violence organisations run by feminists to tell us that men are a problem. Well, I'm not going to read this whole post for you. I will, as usual, link below. What I'm going to do is show you their screen captures of the news. Woman charged with domestic stabbing, a violent stabbing death north of Brisbane. Yep. A woman stabbed a man. Man dead in alleged domestic violence-related stabbing in North Brisbane. And you know what the most surprising thing about these is? That they are actually saying they are domestic violence. Because this is something that has only started in the last 6 odd months. And maybe people like myself speaking out about this shit are starting to have an impact. When we say, why do they never call it domestic violence when a woman does it? There was something that came up in the domestic violence awareness group, and something that they quite often find themselves reporting on. I'll see if I can dig that up before we head out of this video. But as you can see, Alexandra Hills woman charged with domestic violence-related murder of after husband's body found in home. I don't know why it's domestic violence-related when you've killed someone, really, myself. By that time, isn't it domestic homicide? Bloody hell. It's a fault in the way they report it when men do it too, I'm pretty sure. But the fact that they are reporting this at all is surprising in of itself. But as we can see, and as with the feminist I upset, this stuff is not hidden. It's just they don't want to see it. They don't want to hear about it. This conversation ends because I get my information somewhere else. Well, I go for a broad range of sources myself. I don't even normally use the Australian Brotherhood of Fathers for any of my information. I assessed domestic violence awareness a long time ago, and I keep reassessing the value of their information because I don't trust people to stay focused forever. And I'm surprised how focused this group stays. It is very well done. This was an interesting post. I'm just going to scroll till I find what I'm after, but I did like this one. Australia, where it's illegal to discriminate based on gender, sex, orientation, religion, age, or race, but being a man automatically excludes you from domestic violence victims services. And this is true. There are none. They can have men up here all they fucking like, but there are none. So yes, this is the post I was looking for. Just arrived in our inbox. So as you see, someone sent them this. Yet another mothers group applauding and boasting about domestic violence. This one is called Mouthy Mums. And as you can see, Mouthy Mums, and it doesn't matter where in the fuck this is from or whatever. This is a internet group for mothers. Iron. I hit him with a crowbar. A shelf. Just a lighter for me. You radgies. Radgies? Nothing, because abuse is not cool. Well, at least one of these people had something sane to say. My slice of pizza hit him right in the face. And I can't read the rest of that, but anyway. Sorry. Going to the next page. A full block of knives. An axe. Lol. Made my day. Got his ankle. A tampon. Yes, full of salt a handful of salt to the eyes. This woman, she thinks it's worth 100. All these women are fucking abusing men this way. A knife, a cast iron pan, smashed him a few. with a kiss. Someone gave it a laugh. There you go. A thermos. Missed, hit the wall and shattered. Lol. A Heineken bottle. Those bottles must be made of steel. It didn't break or I must be weak. Double cheeseburger from McDonald's. He said if you don't eat so much food, you won't gain so much weight. So you thought to assault him with the cheeseburger. Maybe he was right. But do you see the double standards the world allows? These women on a social media account, on a social media group, just sitting there bragging about how they have assaulted men. And yet I'm supposed to take the Me Too movement seriously. Well, guess what? These women, me too. Oh yeah, I've had women try and assault me. I doubt many men haven't at some point. Anyway, I just wanted to run you through that. The shirt kicker offer was just to give you an idea that I don't do this just online, and that the reason we don't get to discuss these things is because when a feminist does find you wearing a shirt like this, and you do open discussion with her, and you are not rude, you are not aggressive, because I was standing in a line waiting to go through a checkout at a supermarket with my partner. She was with her partner. We were just having a conversation, and you get to the difficult stuff, and she says, "You get your information different place to me. We don't agree. Discussion over." You know, I once had a mother in the playground. She's never talked to me again since this day. I had a mother in a playground telling me how bad it was for girls. Now, she has a daughter now. At that time, she had a son. She and I were both at the playground with our sons. And I tried to explain some of the difficulties that boys would have. That a single allegation of sexual misconduct could destroy a boy's entire life. And that he need not have done anything for that to happen. He could be found innocent in inquiry and still have his life ruined. And I tried to tell her this, and I was polite, and I was not I wasn't overpowering or anything. I just tried to throw this back that her son and my son, who were playing together at the park, could face more problems in their lives than girls possibly could. Because at least we police what could possibly happen to girls. But nobody is policing what could possibly happen to boys. Because nobody gives a flying fuck. And you know that mother has not spoken to me a word since that day. This is the shit you put up with. This is the shit you put up with when you do try to take these discussions into public. And it is why I always take these discussions into public. And I don't give a fuck that this woman hasn't talked to me again. Because every time she walks past me, she has to think about why she doesn't talk to me. And I just hope she fucking gets the idea one day. I hope her son doesn't have to be accused for her to learn. And that's it. I've had enough. I'm going. I do not want to do this anymore. I've had enough of this. I'm out of here. I've been the anti-theocrat. May your gods remain fictional. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, have fun.